In this video we'll look at scrapers. Now scrapers are a specialised piece of construction equipment. They are specifically designed to cut, haul and lay earth. They don't do anything else like an excavator can do multiple things like lift stuff and dig stuff and that sort of business. These things are built for one thing and one thing only, and that is earth moving. They may need bulldozers. They may work in conjunction with bulldozers, either as a toad scraper like this one here, or these ones here if they've got especially hard materials to excavate, then they may need a bulldozer to push them as well. The way they work is that they cut and spread in thin layers. So the scraper will move along, it'll drop a cutter blade down which cuts the material. The material then is either pushed into the bowl there, or it is transported in. In this case here it's transported in using an elevator. In this case here it drops down, and it's just the forward motion of the scraper is what pushes it into the bowl. They come in various sizes from small. The toad scrapers are typically smaller than these ones here, right up to large. These ones here, like the toad scraper, you can see it doesn't have its own engine. It's powered off the bulldozer, so you can see the little hydraulic lines there which raise and lower the bowl, whereas this one here has got its own diesel motor which powers its wheels and also powers the elevator. So the different types: you've got the scraped toad scraper, which is towed by a bulldozer, which we saw in the previous slide. The cutter drops and the soil is pushed into the bowl. Very slow because you're being powered by a bulldozer, which don't go much above 10 kilometers an hour. So the economical distance is up to about 300 meters. Really they are just a way for a bulldozer to be able to haul more material. The advantage of these is that they're being pulled by a bulldozer, which means that there's a very large amount of tractive power behind them. So they can move through harder and wetter conditions than the other ones can, which are mounted on wheels, mainly because they're being pulled by a bulldozer. So oftentimes you'll find that if you've got variable conditions, you'll have and you've got a toad scraper, you'll have the toad scraper and the bulldozer working in the hard or wet conditions because they're more capable of doing it, and the other ones working in the softer soils or the dry conditions. Bigger scrapers have their own engine, their own motor, so they're motorized. They can either be and they're also mounted on wheels too, which means that they're faster, so they can load quicker. They can also move to where they're supposed to go quicker. The downside of that is that there's not as much tractive power in wheels as there are in tracks, so they're not as good at excavating heavy or wet or hard soils as the one that's towed by the bulldozer. In this case here you can see that it's just the forward motion of the scraper that pushes the cut soil up into the bowl, which means that the motor is working quite hard to be able to do the cutting and to move the soil into the plate, into the bowl. When it gets to where it's supposed to go, when it's finished its cutting, it lifts up the bowl, travels to where it's supposed to go. When it's in the fill area, it'll drop the bowl again, and this ejector plate will push the soil out as it travels forward, so it's able to lay it into a thin layer, and that's the same with all of the other ones too. This scraper here is much the same. It's motorized, but it's got an elevator on it, so as the material is cut, the elevator lifts it up. So the engine is only powering the cutter, so the forward motion is only powering the cutter, and then the elevator takes over and pushes it into the bowl. Once again, it's got an ejector plate which pushes forward when it gets to where it's supposed to go. This is so the economical distance for these two is up to about 1 to 2 kilometers. After that you're getting into an area where trucks, excavators and trucks may be more useful. These have the advantage over excavators and trucks in that they take less time to load. An excavator takes longer to load a truck than a loader takes to load itself. But after about 1 to 2 kilometers, that advantage dissipates with the trucks being faster than scrapers. So scrapers, as I said, they can do all three of those things very well. So they are very efficient at moving earth, but they are a specialized piece of equipment. So they can cut, they haul, and they lay it all in one process. And they do it faster over up to about 1 to 2 kilometers.